When people in the Midlands want to talk, they talk to Will Faulkner.
Would you live your life any differently if you knew how long you had left? Now imagine all the considerations that throws up. Do you remain working? Do you quit and spend more time with your family? Do you make a bucket list and set about achieving different goals, such as, I don't know, seeing far-flung parts of the world? Or do you pursue interests you never made time to follow up on before? Or do you simply try to keep going, to hold your head high? Well, I'd like you to meet Teresa Flynn from Clara, who was told she had just 3 months to live in January of last year. Teresa, good morning.
Good morning, Will. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Where does this story begin? Take us back.
Okay, well, basically, I suppose December 2010, I became jaundice on Christmas Day. And then on Stephen's Day, I went into casualty myself, and my consultant was actually on call, and when he met me, he booked me in straight away. And then 5 days later, I ended up in James's, and which was basically New Year's Eve morning. And
what were their suspicions?
I suppose I got different tests done, and basically they wanted a second opinion from James's. And when I went to James's, they found out that, well, they couldn't really do anything until they went in, and they had to, basically what was wrong was that the bile duct was actually blocked, the bile ducts. And they had to, it actually oversized my liver, because my liver was being, I suppose, what would you say, was taken in.
There was a backlog, and the liver swelled as a result.
Exactly, which was crushing my other organs. Now,
was it painful?
There was no alarm bells going off. Like, I did have a wheat intolerance, which would, if people understand what that means, is that when you eat wheat, your tummy would swell and things like that. And I was pushing it down to that. So basically, no alarm bells going off. But Dr. McCarthy, what he had to do firstly, he said, Teresa, I'll have to drain your liver. And he said it's crucial within the next 24 to 48 hours, because it's just basically, it needs to be done.
So they did that, and they conducted extensive tests, and they were as thorough as they could be, because they were trying to figure out what on earth was happening.
Yes, because it was, basically he put it down to glandular carcinoma, which is, it's a rare type of cancer, and normally would be found in elderly people, and I was too young to have it, and that's why I got extensive tests done.
When were you given that diagnosis?
In January 2011.
Now, the word cancer, it doesn't matter what variety it is, it will strike the fear of God in most people. What did you think when you heard those words?
Well, honestly, Will, it didn't frighten me, because it's in my family, and I was used to, my mother passed away with cancer, and then brothers and sisters had cancer. But what was very strange is that the type of cancer I have, it doesn't relate to my family history.
Your family history related to breast cancer and bowel cancer.
Yes, and this was a different form of cancer, which puzzled the doctors at the time. But at the time, because of the type of cancer, I went for a second opinion in Vincent's, and he was puzzled, saying that he got more tests done, because he said it has to be part of your history. But it turned out it wasn't part of my history, and he more or less, I was given 3 months at the time, and told me that.
How were you told?
Well, I was told firstly if it was glandular carcinoma, but then I suppose reality hit in simple words when I went to Vincent's and I asked the question, like, basically, if it is glandular carcinoma, how long do I have? And I wanted a straight answer. And I was told 3 months, and I'll never forget, my cousin was sitting beside me at the time, and Melissa looked at me and I looked at her, and I just couldn't show any emotions. But I did after a while.
What was going on the inside, though?
What I said when the consultant said to me, when Donald said to me that, it's very rare for me to have it at my age, and I said, look, I'll go down in history, as I said to him, trying to see light of it, but yet I know it's serious, that type of way, because I was trying to put light in my head. That's the way. But like I've been through the ups and downs, and in and out of hospital, going through treatments. And
What were your life circumstances at the time?
in relation to...
Did you have children? Did you have commitments?
No, I had no commitments, no kids. No, single. So I was lucky that way, because actually a story that I heard, it's actually taught me the other day, a girl that I met in Luke's when I was getting my radium. And she was a young girl, lovely girl, very positive. And Kelly said to me that she was actually going out with somebody. And when she found out she had cancer, her boyfriend broke it off the next day. And I said, God, how did you go through that? But yet everybody goes through. As she said, when you're faced with a situation like this, everything else is immaterial, at the time.
Yes, it resets your priorities very quickly.
Excuse me, it does indeed, yeah. No, but I have to say, the type of cancer I have, they say it's rare. It's about how you are. I've been positive since day one.
Which must be difficult, though, because when you walk out of a doctor's surgery and you've been told you have 3 months to live, it is inconceivable to anybody who has not heard those words.
True.
What do you do? Do you make the bucket list? Or do you say, I'm going to some far-flung part of the world?
Yes.
Or do you crawl back into bed? Or what do you do?
No. Well, I said to myself, if I was given 3 months, what I wanted to do was, I didn't want to be sad. I didn't want to go home, because I was nearly 6 weeks in James's. And I said, I'm not going to be miserable. I said, if I have 3 months to live, I want to go home. I want to have a smile on my face. I want to meet everybody. So it was a very emotional time.
But you're here.
I know. I am here, thank God. And positivity is just what it's all about, I reckon. And I do believe in the power of prayer, because so many people were so good to me. My family, like every day, my family member was up in James's. My friends, even friends I haven't seen in about 10 years, contacted me and came into the hospital, and I was overwhelmed by that, because, it's people, I suppose life is very busy, and people, we talked about it, even friends I hadn't seen in 10 years, God, what we did years ago and the crack we had and whatever, and it's amazing how, life just passes you by. Life is so busy, and it doesn't have to be like that.
Are you a spiritual person since the word go, or only in the last year?
No, since the word go, I would have been a spiritual person. I would have been a strong believer as well, but more so now than ever. And I do actually attend inner healing, and I find that is very good. And there's a book I actually read. It's called The Journey by Brendan Bayes. Excuse me. And that practically changed my life. I thought it was an excellent book, and I would recommend it to anybody to read. It's an excellent read.
But we all know somebody who has been taken by cancer before their time, at various ages. And the question is always, why? Why them? And in your case, it's, why me?
Why me, yes.
Did you ask that? Did you ever feel
of
angry?
Course. Oh, I was. Twice it happened to me. Twice it did happen. When I was up in James's, when I actually found out first. Different emotions go through your head, and I said, why me? I'm too young. I have a lot to live for, and this is not happening. And because I was so positive, and even to this day, I don't think I'm serious. I am serious, but I say the case of cancer I have is serious, but I don't feel that way. It's always out there. It has been from day one. And like when I was at home, say, and it was amazing to get home, and every morning I was waking up and said, God, it's great, great to be here, because I wasn't given that chance. And I suppose there was one occasion where it's not fair, I'm stuck here, my life is very limited, I can't do much, because I'd love to be out socialising, I'd love to be doing this, that and the other, and I can't do it. Yes, these things go through your head, but I suppose, a want of a word, you get over that and
but
keep
you keep
going.
the chin up,
you do,
keep
yes,
going.
You have to.
How testing has the treatment been?
Well, it's the type of cancer I have, it won't travel any further. It'll always be there. And not unless a miracle happens that it actually, it disappears, or whatever the case may be. You've heard miracle stories out there, but...
you could say a miracle has already happened.
Yeah, it is actually, yeah, that's true. I'm still here to tell the tale. But in saying that, no, I firmly believe that being positive, it's most of the battle, I think. I reckon so.
But the chemo, you had chemo, didn't you?
Pardon me, yes, I had chemo
And radiotherapy?
Yes, I had chemo first and then I had radiotherapy. And
I've met people who were wiped out by chemo and indeed wiped out by radiotherapy, although generally speaking it tends to be less severe. What effect did it have on you?
well, towards the end of my treatment with the chemo, it went very hard on me. Like, my hair didn't fall out. It got very thin, all right. In situations of look-wise, I lost an awful lot of weight. I went down to about, say, 8.5 stone. And then I obviously went on a special diet, had to eat certain foods or whatever to gain my weight again, where a lot of people, we joked about it, God, we're dying to lose weight, and I was trying to put it up. You know, you see light of it. And then now, like, I'm on steroids at the moment. Well, sorry, I'll go back to the radium. It was like in St. Luke's, obviously, where I went to get the radium, and I wasn't sick at all through the course of the radium. But when I came home, I got very sick, very tired, very sore. And I went on steroids then because my quality of life wasn't that great, where I was hovering around home and feeling very stiff and sore around the cancer area. So they decided to put me on steroids. And I went on steroids for a while, and then I ended up going to Lourdes. And I was jaundiced before I went to Lourdes. It's just a story that I have as well in between that. It's there's a picture of me taken on the airplane going out to Lourdes, and my face is very jaundiced. And I was supposed to get all these tests done after I came back from Lourdes, but I came back and I was clear and I was in great form. And it's like I did actually take something from Lourdes. I really enjoyed it.
Well, that only reinforces your spirituality then, doesn't it?
It does, really well, it does.
Who did you have around you for support and to help you through these difficult times?
Oh, my family. My family, my friends, the village, Ballycumber, everybody was just I was overwhelmed. Words can't describe how overwhelmed I was. There's such a huge circle of support. It was unbelievable everywhere. It's fantastic. Now, my family, as I say, we're very, very lucky to have a close family. Like, there's situations when I met different people, different characters going through this up in James's, in Luke's, and, you know, they don't have families. They're on their own, you know, which would break your heart. You know, you'd say, I'm very lucky to have such a strong, close family.
What effect has your prognosis had on friends and family? Are they treating you any differently? Are they walking on eggshells to some extent?
No, they're not actually. It's very strange, it's not. Well, in saying that, I do find with the steroid now, I said, why isn't anybody saying I look different, you know? And no, there's no walking on eggshells. They treat me as normal. We live a normal life. It's great. It's fantastic.
Which is how you want it.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And even I'm living with my brother Joseph and Loyola at the moment, and they're 4 beautiful kids. And they're great. The kids are fantastic. They keep me going.
I want to talk in a moment about your foray into music and how you hooked up with Simon Caset.
Midlands Today on Midlands 103.
Midlands 103.
Our guest this morning is Teresa Flynn from Ballycumber, and in January of last year she was given just 3 months to live, but she has defied the odds. She is still here, she is staying positive and has turned her attention to music. Now, tell us about this collaboration with Simon Caset. How did this come about?
Simon, I suppose, when Simon grew up with each other, I suppose. I'd be way older than Simon. But,
you don't look it for the record, by the way.
Thanks very much, Will. But I suppose we involved in musicals, church music, all that type of thing. But I suppose...
Would you be friends, Simon?
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely will. Like, I suppose Teresa, just listening to her there in the first half, she's the bravest person that I know. You know, she's just from day one. Her outlook on this whole thing has been fantastic. You know, but the thing that Teresa hadn't said, her dad Paddy, they would own Flynn's pub in Ballycumber. So obviously a lot of socialising went on there over the years. So I suppose a lot of this album would have been songs that we would have sang at sessions and all that kind of thing, and as I said, Teresa and Joe, I suppose even, you know, back 10 years ago we would have been all singing these kind of these songs that we've recorded for this album, and you know, everybody, I suppose, over the years has always been on to Teresa, you have to record a song, you have to, you know, and it was just I don't know, it just never happened, you know, and I think Teresa...
And why not, Teresa, if people were saying it to you again and again and again, did the idea not ever occur in your head, maybe they have a point, perhaps I should do this?
Yeah. Well, I suppose to get the time again. Life is so busy. You know, I remember, I suppose I worked my own job. I worked at home. I lived at home for a long time as well. And then I used to teach music myself as well. So I suppose I gave my time to other things. I never gave time to myself.
But you grew
So to
up
speak.
in a publican family where music, you were indoctrinated into it almost
Yeah.
probably, and you taught music, you loved music,
Yeah.
but you never pursued it.
I know it's very strange, but I suppose with what's after happening, I think it's confidence. Would that be a want of a word? I really believe that. I did have confidence in myself, but not enough, I suppose.
Yeah.
That'd be a want of a word.
What was your reaction, Simon, when you heard Teresa's prognosis?
Oh God, we were devastated, you know. And I remember that morning, we had actually done the as Teresa said, we would perform most Christmas mornings together, in Border Church. You know, we did the mass, myself, Joe, and Teresa, and a couple of the kids as well. It's lovely, and we do Easter as well. But I remember that morning, Teresa was saying that she wasn't feeling that well, and I could remember Teresa, and she was kind of worried about herself a little bit. You know, that she thought she had jaundice herself. You know. Then when I just heard a couple of days later what had happened, what she was going through, like, you know, it just everyone, like, we are so close. You know, all of Teresa's family and my family, my wife and, you know, Joe's wife, best friends. You know, so we're very, very close knit, and you know, we were all devastated. But like, we just can't believe how Teresa's come out through all this. Like, you know, she's the bravest person.
Which is fantastic.
Absolutely.
And really to be admired. But when you sat down and you went into the studio and you were there and you were recording this, it must have been deeply emotional.
It was, you know, for me, you know, singing with Teresa, because we sang this song, actually, we sang it live, you know what I mean? Sometimes people, like, I could go in, you know, next week and put down my vocal, and Teresa
And
might
it's
go in
dubbed
a few
over
weeks
with-
later, and
yeah,
the two of us
later.
were in the studio together. We recorded Feet of a Dancer and Carrick Fergus, you know. And but this song, Feet of a Dancer, means a lot to myself and Teresa, because we've always sang this song in sessions and stuff like that. So, you know, it's not something, I know, I suppose it's kind of apt when you listen to the lyrics. It's one of these, you know, the lyrics are quite uplifting, and I think, you know, with Teresa's story and all the rest, it's very poignant as well, you know.
Shall we have a listen to
Yeah,
it?
but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't meant for that. This is a song that we've always sang, you know. And even Charlie McGettigan was emailed me during the week. He wrote the song, and he thought he thought it was beautiful, you know. So it's nice to get the songwriters up on it as well, you know.
Let's hear it.
I hope you find the feet of a dancer. Hope you can sing in the rain. I hope you find all the easy answers to your pain.
It won't be easy, but what can I say? There will be trouble along the way.
Around every corner, there'll be terror and tears. But always remember that we're here.
I hope you find the feet of a dancer. Hope you can
Well, that's a beautiful version of that song. Well done, guys. In studio, we have Simon Caset and Teresa Flynn. We'll continue our conversation after these.
If you've got a comment, call Will now on 0818 300 103
0818 300 103.
or text us 083 3010 103. The Midlands Today Show with Will Faulkner.
Midlands 103.
In studio, we have Teresa Flynn, a young woman from Ballycumber, who doesn't want me to tell you that she's celebrating her birthday today, but somebody did happen to point it out, so a round of applause and happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Will.
Teresa, in January of last year, was given just 3 months to live because of a rare form of cancer. But she has beaten the odds. She is here, and in the last few minutes you would have heard a wonderful version of Feet of a Dancer, which she performs with Simon Caset. And that song is available, is it?
The thing is, well, at the moment it's not available, right? Because this is very much a radio single. This is off the forthcoming album, Grogan's Rose, which is obviously Teresa's album, but the album will be available for release next month.
Well, you better get it out
Oh,
soon,
absolutely,
because
because
the amount of texts
yeah,
and calls we've had from people who absolutely adored it and thought it was brilliant.
That's lovely. Sure, look, I said I've been on to Teresa all my life to record a song, to record a duet with her, and I'm just delighted to be involved in it as well.
Well, we're all glad you did it, but you
Yeah.
didn't just do it with Simon Caset. You've recorded with many people, and some even at a distance.
Yes, that's right. Well, firstly, I suppose my family. And all of my brothers and sisters are actually doing duets on the album with me. My brother Patrick, my sister Anne, my other sister Catherine, and my brother Joseph.
And can they all sing as well as you?
And they can. Well, they can, yes. And then Peter, the baby of the family, Peter as well. He's singing on it too.
Talented family,
Yeah.
then.
And then we have, say, Damien Dempsey. He's on the album as well.
But you didn't meet Damien
I
Dempsey.
haven't
You
met
are
him.
hoping to meet him, though.
Please God, yes. No, I was supposed to meet him before Christmas, but I was too sick to travel.
So you recorded in one studio,
Yes.
and then at a remote location he recorded his version or
Yes.
his lines for it,
Yeah.
and they were spliced together. And are you happy with the result?
Oh, fabulous! It's beautiful now, I have to say. I always liked Damien Dempsey as an artist. He's very good.
Was it tough singing with your family, or was it enjoyable?
Very enjoyable. Like, there was emotions. Like, obviously, as the songs we have chosen, there are songs that go back, and good memories go back a good few years. Yes, there was tears, but and then there was laughter as well. It was good. It was enjoyable.
I suppose the elephant in the room is you've defied the odds. What are your doctors telling you now?
Well, basically, the cancer won't spread, and it's confined, more or less, and medication or pain is a big thing with me at the moment, and that's under control with medication. And once I get that balance, I can lead a normal life, basically.
How intense is the pain?
It can be very severe, like I would be on a lot of medication every day. But, as I say, one person gets used to it when they're taking medication for so long. But hopefully, as I'm on steroids at the moment and I'm coming down off steroids, and they give me a bit of life. Now, at the moment, I'm trying to eat protein foods, things like that, to give me energy.
For growth and repair as well.
Absolutely, because coming off steroid, I'm very tired. I would love the bed, the sort of a way, which I wouldn't be a person for the bed.
I think in the circumstances we can forgive you that particular little indiscretion. Going to bed is quite acceptable, considering what you've been through.
But no, please God, now, in the next while when I come off steroids, and the palliative care will be able to come up with the balance for me. As I say, I'm dealing a lot with my local GP and the palliative care team, and then the nurses, the healthcare nurses within my area, and they've all been absolutely fabulous. As I say, what I went through since I developed this situation, this cancer, just doctors, nurses, carers, everybody has been just fantastic. It's brilliant.
So what's your next move, or are you planning ahead?
Well, I take a day from day, really, and I suppose the balance for me is to get my life in order that I can actually move on. I'd love to go back to work.
Is it realistic?
I don't know, you see, I'll have to wait and see. See, I suppose nothing is sure at the moment. You know, I have to, I suppose, get my life back together.
But physically, would it be possible, or do you feel that you would be up to it?
I don't know. That's an honest answer. I don't know, because I've been away. It's amazing. I've been away from work for so long, and to go back on that field, I want to go back, but I can't go back. I wouldn't go back unless I was 100%, because I wouldn't like to do that to any employer to turn around and say, look, I'm coming back, and then next thing, a couple of weeks later, I'm out sick. You know, once I get that fine balance and I'm able to live my life, then I'll go back to work.
How much does the question of how long is left play on your mind?
It doesn't. Oh, it does sometimes. You know, I've every emotion has gone through my head. Like, I've thought of things back to as obviously I've loads of time to think. I've thought of being a child up until today, and it plays in my mind, but I'm not afraid. That's one thing I said when I heard the news first, and strangely enough, my mother, she passed away in 2000, and then my sister Helen was killed in a car crash when she was 18 back in 1985. And I said to myself, I always knew they were happy. As I say, I'd be a very spiritual person. And I remember my brother Patrick was with me in the hospital when I found out, and we were sitting and talking. I said to myself, Mother, give me a sign. Helen, give me a sign. I just didn't want to be afraid. That's the one thing, I don't want to be afraid. But as time goes on, you know, I'm not afraid. And it's a great feeling to know that what this life is about and what the next life is about, it's a good feeling. You know,
But we all know this journey we're on has a finish line at some point.
Absolutely.
And you, for a few months, thought you saw where the finishing line was.
Yeah.
Now you don't.
I don't.
So
no.
do you feel good about that?
I
or
do.
Right, you
I feel
do.
very good about it. Very comfortable within myself about it, yes.
She's some woman, isn't she, Simon?
Wow. I said, well, 1 in a million. Absolutely 1 in a million, you know.
Well, I have to say, it has been an enormous pleasure to meet you today, Teresa.
Likewise, Will.
And Simon, always great to see
Thanks
you.
very much,
Thank
Will.
you very much for coming in to us. And when you have full information on when all those songs are available, do let us know.
And just to let you know, the album, you know, all the profits of the album will be going to all them hospitals that maybe you
That's
might
right.
just mention them, Teresa.
Yeah, well, the reason, I suppose, to start off the album, Dr. McCarthy, he looked after me. He practically saved my life. And he was supposed to go into cancer research. And then I decided then, he said he'd work on me until I was finished, basically. And he's gone back into cancer research. So that's the reason why I was doing for cancer research in Dublin. And then, obviously, Tullamore Oncology, where I got my chemo. And then St. Luke's, where I attended for radium as well. So that's the 3 organisations that...
Excellent. Guys, thank you so much for
Thanks,
coming in
Will.
to us.
Thanks.
Teresa Flynn, Simon Caset, both from Ballycumber. Thank you very much indeed.